Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for inviting me to this institution, and I'm very happy to be here because not only of our long existing contacts between the embassy, which were established over 10 years ago when the Polish ambassador Lech Mastalerz, resident in Wellington, was invited here in 2005. And later on, my predecessor, Ambassador Beata Stoczyńska, she took part in many events organized by your center and the university. And actually, I'm very proud that we have the Polish Solidarity Room upstairs with the plaque dedicated to Lech Wałęsa. Who knows who was Lech Wałęsa in Poland and what role he played in Poland or in Europe? So everybody probably knows that he was the leader of the Solidarity movement, and last year we celebrated 35 years of the Solidarity movement, which, let's say, made a huge contribution to the collapse of communism in Poland. Well, it's also linked to the subject of our meeting. So I committed to say a few words about Ukraine. I used to follow Ukrainian issues from Poland. As you mentioned, I worked for the European Commission in Warsaw, so it was just on the eve of the revolution of dignity and afterwards. So we had a lot of contacts, and of course for Poland that was a, let's say, crucial issue in our foreign policy and also in the European neighborhood policy, so I mean the whole European Union. So I would propose that we take the first part and my speech on the record, and the second part, question and answers, if I'm able to answer your questions, maybe on Chatham rules, yes, House rules. So I would start to say a few words about Ukraine, and I would be ready to elaborate a bit more about the reforms afterwards, and of course human rights in Crimea and other things according to your interest. So first of all, I would like to say to give you an insight about the process of bringing Ukraine closer to the European Union. Now is a good time to clarify one important issue, that this process has started many years ago, and we can say that it's on the way to deliver. Ukraine plays a crucial role in maintaining stability of Europe. It's in Poland's and other EU member states' best interest to see Ukraine with stable political system, prospering market economy, and blooming civil society. One could ask, why is Ukraine so important for the EU? A quick glance on the map will give you an answer. Ukraine has an area of over 600,000 square kilometers, making it the largest country within Europe. So we can take the area of New Zealand and the area of Poland, and we would have in total the area of Ukraine. This is a very large country. It is inhabited by a population of roughly 44.5 million people, therefore making it an important trade partner. And again, if we take the population of Poland, 38 million people, and the population of New Zealand, we would have more or less the Ukrainian population. Ukraine is also a country included in the Eastern Partnership, an initiative launched in 2007 by Poland and Sweden, and its let's say major aim was to build closer ties with Armenia, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Georgia, and Moldova, and of course Ukraine, but without the prospect of immediate EU membership in the foreseeable future. Let us now do a quick review of the current state of play in the EU-Ukraine relations. In general, we can establish that these relations are based on three pillars. The first is the EU-Ukraine Association Agreement, which replaced the EU-Ukraine Partnership and Cooperation Agreement as the legal basis and framework for EU-Ukraine relations, PCA agreement. And the association agreement provides for a shared commitment to a close and lasting relationship based on common values, in particular full respect for democratic principles, rule of law, good governance, human rights, and fundamental freedoms. It is divided in two components, as probably some of you know, political and the so-called Deep and Comprehensive Free Trade Agreement, DCFTA. And the DCFTA established a framework for modernizing Ukraine's trade relations with the EU and its member states, and for economic development by the opening of markets via the progressive removal of customs tariffs and quotas, and by harmonization of laws, norms and regulations in various trade-related sectors. This will create, actually it creates the conditions for aligning key sectors of the Ukrainian economy to EU standards. So as we know, the New Zealand government is looking forward to start the negotiations on FTA with the EU. So this kind of agreement, although a bit larger, Ukraine has with the EU. What we could add about the DCFTA, and I would like to quote Mr. Taras Kuzio from the University of Alberta in Canada, and because I think his definition of DCFTA and, let's say, possible results is very accurate. So he wrote a couple of months ago that the economic effects will be in the medium term. The most important aspects of the DCFTA is that it will force Ukrainian trade and economic actors to reorient away from Russia and Eurasia and towards Europe, which Europe plays by and not with the rules. This will be made easier by President Putin's aggression and Ukrainophobia, which has dramatically cut Russian-Ukrainian trade and forced Ukraine to become independent from Russian energy. So this is the quote.